Christ is risen. Welcome to Spiritual Calisthenics. Today on Bright Monday, April 25th, we celebrate the memory of St. George, the trophy bearer, whose feast was moved from April 23rd so that it could be celebrated today. St. George, this truly great and glorious martyr of Christ, was born of a father from Cappadocia and a mother from Palestine, from the town of Lydda. Being a military tribune or hiliarch, that is, a commander of 1,000 troops, he was illustrious in battle and highly honored for his courage. When he learned that the emperor Diocletian was preparing persecution of the Christians, St. George presented himself publicly before the emperor and denounced him. When threats and promises could not move him from his steadfast confession, he was put to unheard of tortures, which he endured with great bravery, overcoming them by his faith and love towards Christ. By the wondrous signs that took place in his contest, he guided many to the knowledge of the truth, including Queen Alexandra, wife of Diocletian, and was finally beheaded in 296 in Nicomedia. His sacred remains were taken by his servant from Nicomedia to Palestine, to a town called Lydda, the homeland of his mother, and then were finally transferred to the church, which was raised up in his name. Now, a couple of things about St. George. Often he is depicted slaying a dragon. Some legends depict this as symbolic of him conquering the devil, which of course he did. Others look to it that as one of his journeys as a soldier, that he slew a Nile crocodile that villagers were sacrificing young maidens to because they assumed that this would somehow make their crops better. St. George is also famous for having relics of 4 chains that were binding him to a wheel of blades, a wheel very similar to what St. Catherine would have endured. St. George did endure. St. George was boiled in oil. St. George was crushed with a rock. St. George endured the spinning wheel of blades. St. George endured being given poison to drink. All of these things harmed him, but the next day, miraculously, he would be made well by angelic help. And this is further seen in the epistle that we read today, in which we commemorate and look to the rescue of St. Peter from prison. At that time, Herod the king laid violent hands upon some who belonged to the church. He killed James, the brother of John, with a sword, and when he saw that it pleased the Jews, he proceeded to arrest Peter also. This was during the days of unleavened bread. And when he had seized him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 squads of soldiers to guard him, intending after the Passover to bring him out to the people. So Peter was kept in prison, but earnest prayer for him was made to God by the church. The very night when Herod was about to bring him out, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains, and sentries before the doors were guarding the prison. And behold, an angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell, and struck Peter on the side and woke him, saying, "Get up quickly." And the chains fell off his hands. And the angel said to him, "Wrap your mantle around you and follow me." And when he went out and followed him, and he did not know what was done by the angel was real, but thought he was seeing a vision. When they passed the first and the second guard, they came to the iron gate leading into the city. It opened to them of its own accord, and they went out and passed through on one street, and immediately the angel left him. And Peter came to himself and said, "Now I am sure that the Lord has sent his angel and rescued me from the hand of Herod and from all the Jewish people that were expecting." So in other words, St. Peter's rescue from the angel is showing us how the saints, and St. George being one of the saints that had this happen, is rescued so that the glory of God might be made manifest until ultimately his martyrdom is completed with his beheading. Now, the gospel, of course, is for Bright Monday, so continuing off from Pascha yesterday. No one has ever seen God. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, has made him known. In other words, it is impossible to pick God the Father. When Moses wanted to look at God, he was put in a cleft of a rock and was covered as the glory passed by. Every time that we would see the angel of great council, it was actually Jesus Christ in the Old Testament. So the only way we have seen anything physical of God is from Jesus Christ. And this is the testimony of John, again, John the theologian. When the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" he confessed. He did not deny, but he confessed, "I am not the Christ." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elisha?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" He answered, "No." They said to him, "Then who are you? Let us have an answer for those who sent us. What do you say about yourself?" He said, John the theologian, or John the Baptist rather, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord, as the prophet Isaiah said. Now they had been sent from the Pharisees. They asked him, Then why are you baptizing, if you are neither the Christ, nor Elijah, nor the prophet? John answered them, I baptize with water. In other words, the baptism of repentance, which is similar to what we do with confession. But among you stands one whom you do not know, even he who comes after me, the thong of whose sandal I am not worthy to untie. This took place in Bethany beyond the Jordan, where John was baptizing. I hope that you've enjoyed today's spiritual calisthenics. To all who celebrate today, all the Georges, all the Georgies, Kronia Pola. Christ